Dina Colucci.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And I have you here representing yourself against the bill.
That is correct. My name is Dina Colucci, and thank you for letting me speak with you and for your patience this evening. As has been stated, well, first of all, I am a constituent of Representative Dukes. I'm very much against this bill. And I want to get us back to two core concepts that I think we're not talking about sufficiently: precedent, constitutionality. And I want to throw in a little bit of pro bono in that conversation too. You might guess I'm a lawyer. And I actually brought a visual aid because I feel like no one has tonight, and I want you to have something else to look at. So this is an award that I won a couple months ago. I'm very honored to have gotten it. It was from the Travis County Women Lawyers Association, and it recognized me for my pro bono services. That means I do a lot of work for free. And I don't do that because I want to get an award and stand before people I don't know and present it to them, but because it's for the public good. And if you remember, pro bono means for the public good. Part of the work that I do in a volunteer capacity is to be a volunteer on the Jane's Due Process Hotline. You've had people testify from Jane's Due Process here. I'm not representing them, but I am a volunteer. I talk to a lot of girls and have been volunteering on this hotline for almost a decade now. Most of the girls I talk to are teens. Most of the girls that I talk to are pregnant. In a few instances, these girls are past 20 weeks. For the men out here, you may not be aware that for teenage girls, when they first start menstruating, it's not always a regular thing that they can predict or have an understanding of. Sometimes things are late. Sometimes things are irregular. If they are athletes, then oftentimes that also changes their cycle, and it's very possible, and I have talked to several girls over the time that I've been doing this, who have no clue that they're pregnant. We hear about reality television shows that deal with this theme, and it seems kind of ridiculous to us, but the truth is it's not uncommon for this to happen to a teenage girl. When I talk to these girls, I explain to them what the law is, because as a lawyer, I govern my profession according to the precedent that I'm taught and that is instilled upon me. And I tell them that it is constitutionally mandated that until viability, there is the right to have an abortion in this country, and that that right was given years before they were even thought of, let alone born. Regardless of how you feel about abortion, the issue here is precedent. I have no doubt that were this bill to pass, it's going to result in litigation. It's going to result in constitutional litigation about this issue, and it's going to be costly litigation. We've already seen in other states that have enacted laws like this that they have received blocks. With precious resources that have to be spread thinly in order to accommodate a large state that has lots of issues, it seems to be an irresponsible use of taxpayer money to have to enact something that we already know is going to be facing uphill, costly legal battles. So here's the pro bono part. It's a very easy way for you to get some free pro bono points in your book, if you are lawyers, to allow the status quo. It's for the public good, and doing that doesn't require you to do anything other than sit in this chair and vote the right way. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Alysha King.
You can call me Misty. That's okay.
All right. And I have you representing yourself against the bill.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you all so much for waiting. I guess it's, oh my God, it's really late. I am here to testify against this bill. I'm a constituent of Representative Elliott Nisha. I also apologize for what I'm wearing. I got here around 1:30 in the afternoon, and after 10 o'clock, professional attire gets discarded in lieu of comfy pants, so I appreciate your patience. It's kind of crazy listening to everyone give their testimony. I'm 25 years old, so basically a baby, and I've heard testimony from men and women who have been fighting this battle since the 1960s, which to me is like ancient history. And it's extremely humbling to be a part of this fight, but it's also kind of insane that I'm able to be a part of this fight. Just a little about me. I'm a high school teacher. I had 3 girls last year get pregnant. I taught freshmen, and I also taught special education. No one here is an advocate for abortion. Every single person who has testified today and who will testify today wants abortion to be safe and legal, but also very rare. Let me be clear, these bills will not reduce the number of abortions performed in Texas each year. These bills will do nothing to combat the very real problem of young children getting pregnant. These bills will serve no purpose other than to make abortions more dangerous for those seeking them and to gain political points with religious conservatives. I want to know why my representatives are voting on a bill that will do nothing to reduce the number of abortions performed in this state, nothing to combat the rampant and rising teen pregnancy rates, nothing to assuage the roaring tide of guilt and shame and poverty that attends 14-year-old mothers who are terrified and poor and functionally illiterate as my girls were. If we want to get serious about reducing the number of abortions performed in this state each year, we need to discuss the real issues, which are rising poverty, a lack of comprehensive sex education, and a policy of discarding and disregarding those who do not have the money or status to demand a change, which, as you can tell, almost everyone in here is middle class and white, and that's because we have been afforded the opportunity to come here and fight. The people that this policy would be affecting are not able to be here because they're poor, and they're the ones that are going to be affected by this, not me. Addressing all of these has been proven to reduce the rate of abortions, making more abortions more difficult to get, shaming women who have made a difficult personal decision by forcing them to undergo traumatic invasive procedures, passing outlandish restrictions on abortions and those who provide them with no foundation in science or reasoning simply to appease a moral superiority complex. None of these will do anything to actually solve the problem. I beg you, please stop focusing on passing these laws and let's come together to actually solve the problem plaguing the state's women. Poverty, lack of access to basic health care, and the seemingly prevailing idea amongst our legislators that we cannot make decisions regarding our own bodies without the help of the law. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. Clara Phillips? Sierra, okay. I didn't read that. Okay. Here, Representative Self testifying against the bill.
My name is Mrs. Sierra Phyllis, and I am opposed to this bill. Thank you for allowing me to testify. My husband and my infant son have been here with me since 4 o'clock. They're listening in room 120. I am a religious studies and biology major at UT, a business owner, and a new mother. In the next year, I will be applying to seminary to get a Master's of Divinity in hopes of becoming a minister. As an American Baptist and a woman of faith, I have deeply held objections to restricting access to women's health. My primary objections are not religious but personal. My husband and I have been married 9 years. We expected to start a family through adoption. I was told by multiple doctors that I suffered from endometriosis, which restricts fertility. Despite our belief that we could not conceive, we continued to use contraceptives to regulate my cycle. I had my first grand mal seizure in 2008, followed by a particularly painful cycle. I had 4 more seizures before we realized that we were expecting our son, Tobias. I had a seizure when I was 12 weeks pregnant with accompanying symptoms of threatened miscarriage. We found an OB who scheduled our visits. Our anomaly ultrasound was at 20 weeks. If at that time my son had had a serious birth defect, my personal and religious beliefs would not have allowed me to continue a pregnancy that would have ended in the suffering and probable death of my child, despite having lost 4 previous children. Between my OB and my neurologist, we realized my body responds to pregnancy with seizures, a type of catamenial epilepsy that has been controlled by my use of oral contraceptives. As my pregnancy progressed, we hoped that I would be out of danger. Tobias was due December 31st. On December 21st, I had visual symptoms. On December 22nd, I awoke in the hospital. I had had a grand mal seizure and was about to receive an emergency cesarean section. My son is almost 6 months old. Actually, now he is 6 months old. Tomorrow, were I to become unexpectedly pregnant again, I might have a seizure despite my anticonvulsant treatment. Each time I have a seizure, I lose most of the day, if not a week, and run the risk of never regaining consciousness. Tobias would be motherless, my childhood sweetheart, a widower, and none of this could have been prevented after 20 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony.